This is Paul Turner, the Immigration Barrister at Imperium Chambers. Thank you very much for tuning in. Please subscribe to my channel. Today, I trialled it yesterday. Today I'm going to talk about Priti Patel's arguably illegal new asylum plans, and rather is this her political suicide? This week was marked by Priti Patel admitting that after 11 years in power, that the government's asylum system was broken. This ought arguably to have led to the Home Secretary resigning. After all, she was and is responsible for the asylum system. But no, under Boris, she seems to be the Teflon woman, where no amount of scandal or resignations or findings of bullying seem to stick to her. But why these plans and why now? Well, we all know the system's broken. Perhaps it is said that the reason for these plans is that Boris is now tiring of continued failures and obviously the various news reports that report these failures. But more importantly, are these plans actually lawful? They sound great, they sound fantastic in theory, supposedly. In my view, no. And for the reason for this, watch on. If she tries to implement them, I believe that it's likely that there'll be many challenges and the court may well strike them down. Previously, they struck down plans to deny asylum seekers support. They did that twice. And this could lead to the end of her colourful career, as she will have failed in her big promise for her end-to-end reform. Anyway, let's look briefly at the reforms and see why there are fundamental problems in them. Firstly, I commend her in respect that it is desirable to stop criminal gangs from exploiting people, putting their lives at risk and getting into the United Kingdom. But will her plans make it better or worse or make no difference at all? In my view, actually the plans themselves create a very real danger that many more people will be put at risk, because I do not see, especially coming from her, a generous system for people to come to the United Kingdom lawfully and claim asylum, which will force people to use yet more gangs and cause yet more deaths. One of the key issues is she wants to create safe routes into the United Kingdom. Well, at present, it's the government who decides who can resettle and how many. This doesn't take into account the situation in the world and reality. There are only two schemes at present. One's family reunion and the other one's Syrian resettlement, which has led to only about 4,000 people a year being settled here. So it's when you consider there's 33,000 odd asylum claims, you can see where she's going with this. So it will be for the government to decide which countries and how they are going to allow asylum seekers from in legally, which essentially ignores reality, but also allows the government to put a cap on the number of migrants or asylum seekers. Now, this in itself, as many human rights commentators have commented on, arguably breaches international law. Then there is the plan that those legally and those who arrive illegally to be treated differently. If you arrive lawfully, you'll get ILR and you can have family reunion. And if you don't, you'll have your status constantly reviewed. You won't be given permanent status and you might not be able to bring your family over. There is a clear breach of two key issues, in my opinion, and that's before we go into the details, which is for another day. Firstly, the Refugee Convention does not prohibit unlawful entry. It makes it unlawful for a country, i.e. the United Kingdom, to send people back to a place of risk, as does Article 3 of the ECHR. And it awfully looks like, secondly, like discrimination to me, which is also unlawful. For example, if two people from the same country with the same claims arrive in the UK, one through a safe route and one illegally, to treat them differently after they arrive may be seen to be breaching the UK's obligations under Article 14. I could go on and will produce further videos, but don't really wish to bore you with the graphic details of it. In my view, in essence, if these plans are implemented, it could amount to a large amount of challenges. And if the plans are found to breach international law, it is hard to see that this Secretary of State will actually remain in her job for much longer. And as I said, it is said that Boris is beginning to tire of probably reading about how many failures her department has had over the last year or so, and the number of damning reports. So this could be her last chance. And from what she said, whilst it sounded tough and she made a great play on saving lives, in reality it could put more lives at risk. and at the same time break international law. Not exactly a shining example from someone who's supposed to head up the Home Office, but we all know the track record. I hope you've enjoyed watching this video. Please subscribe to my channel. If you have any immigration problems, please get in touch with me, or if a family member does, get in touch with me. Once again, thank you for watching. This is Paul Turner, the Immigration Barrister at Imperium Chambers.